Okay, here we are, minutes before a live chiller chat. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I'm going to be, if you're on the YouTube channel, I'm going to practice a few things. Alright, I think that'll be fine. I don't think I'm in the way there too much. Alright. There we go. Testing out the old equipment before we do a show. Always a good idea. Always a good idea. Alright. So, tonight at 8 o'clock, I'm going to have guests David and Diana Silvio from Kiss of Death Productions in Pittsburgh, and they will be my guests tonight. We'll be talking about their movies and a web series too that's online as well. So, looks like something is okay. All right, now let's see. Make sure the phone's all set. Looks like it is. All right. Okay. All right, so far it looks like everything's running okay. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing. See if I have any comments here on Facebook or YouTube. No, I don't think so. Not yet. All right. Well, we got time. We got time. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. Hope everybody had a... Oh, I am getting comments here. All right. All right. Well, I'm glad I noticed that now before the show started at 8. Your snowball is hiding your skeleton friend. It is on Facebook, but everything's lined up on the YouTube camera. So I'll move this over a little bit. All right. All right, like I said, at 8 o'clock, we will be talking with David and Diana Silvia of Kiss of Death Productions. That is odd. I always get on here about 10 or 15 minutes early before the show to check things out, make sure things are running well, and to make sure I'm not missing any comments. Now, one thing about comments is this is a live interactive program, and feel free to make comments, ask questions to the guests. That's fine. If I happen to look and miss what you're writing, and it's, I scroll past it, just throw it in there again. I'm actually looking at like 5 different windows here, so I could very easily miss your question. Sorry about that. Just throw it in there. Just throw it in there again if you have to. So we are 8 minutes away from starting another chiller chat. Now, the idea, if you're new to this, if you've not seen this before, I'm Brian Hogue, and I'm the host of Chiller Chat. I'm also the host of Chiller Night Theater, as Jack Shadows, the horror host. And I also do a thing on Saturday nights called Chiller Night Live Pre-Show, and basically get on here and ramble on for an hour, telling you about the Chiller Night programming that's going to be airing on Stream TV at 9 until about 3:30 in the morning, sometimes a little later than that. So we do this every Saturday night, Now, speaking of Saturday night, this episode that we're going to be streaming live tonight will be Saturday night's TV episode on Stream TV at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're located about an hour north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, our autumn waves, like that. There we go. Okay, I think I'm caught up on the comments. And like I said, at 8 o'clock, I just started, this is something I just started doing, probably about, 3-4 weeks ago, is doing the live chiller chats. If you're on Facebook, you folks on Facebook, and you're watching this, you don't have the, okay, Charles asked, okay, that's funny because I was just going to touch on that. And Charles asked, which is the real background, the green or the YouTube background? Well, the real background is the green. That's actually what's behind me, is a green screen in the office here, in this office studio where I do the show. Now, if you look at YouTube, you're going to see the when I do the show from the TV studio, you're going to see that in the background. And actually, Monday I'll be doing more chiller chats with guests who are actually coming to the TV studio to do some episodes. So they're not all done this way. In fact, most of them started out with me with the guests. I just recently started doing it this way, and I hope you guys like that. I hope you enjoy it. It's just a way that I can actually put these shows out every week. So I can have a new show every week. I tape them live on Tuesday nights, and then this is the show that's going to be on TV Saturday night. That's how it's done. Live Tuesday night, it'll be aired on TV on Saturday night. So again, it's interactive. Feel free to interact with the guests, and we'll have a good time. Kiss of Death Productions. They do movies, and like I said, they've done web series as well online. So they're doing a new one, and I am very interested to talk to them about that. They're doing a vampire web series called Nocturnal, or Nocturna. Nocturnal web series. Blood Stories is their web series, so that would be kind of neat. They make horror films, movies in the horror genre, horror slasher type of movies. So it'll be interesting to talk to them. And the director, the guy who actually founded Kiss of Death, I think they've been around. I think he started this way back in 1979. Marianne Hughes says, "Hi, Brian. We just voted." Okay, all right, good. Well, the voting polls are, I think, still open. I don't know. I don't know. I think they are, but I don't know. But we are. Oh gosh. We're 3 minutes away from the show, so yeah, I voted earlier today. I voted that. I got that out of the way as soon as work was done. So, because I knew I had this tonight, and I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way and get some other things done before I had to do this tonight. So, one thing I tell the guests is when they're on the show, this 30 minutes. It goes so fast. You think you're on here for 5 minutes, and you look down. I actually go with real time. The show's a 30-minute program, and I start the show at 8 o'clock, and it ends at 8:30. I stick around afterwards for probably another 10-15 minutes. If anybody's interacting, I'll stay on for about 10 or 15 minutes, and we can interact. So, with that being said, we have 2 minutes left. And like I said, my guests tonight are David and Diana Silvio from Kiss of Death Productions from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They do film and videos, in the Pittsburgh area. So that will be, looking forward to the show. Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Some of their movies are a bit risque, so I don't think you want the kids in the room if you're watching one of their movies. I'm not sure what the Nocturnal web series is like. I guess we'll find out once we start talking to them here in a couple minutes. Now at 8 o'clock, here's what I'm going to do. If you've never seen this before, like I said, the live ones are pretty new. So I start. Autumn wrote, "Go Steelers." All right. Are they are they playing tonight? I don't even know. I stopped watching. I haven't watched the NFL for a little while, but I don't know if they're playing tonight. Good luck to the Steelers, or whenever they do play. So let's see. All right, almost time. We are 1 minute away. Now, folks, when I go to, if you're watching on Facebook, you're going to miss some of the visual bells and whistles, as I like to call them, because put this over here. Because what's going on is YouTube, you can see everything. You can see all this stuff. You know, the website, the pictures of the guests when I pull them up, and that the show's intro on Facebook. You might have to sit there for 10 seconds just looking at me in front of this green screen. And then we're actually going to start the show right now. So with that, let's begin. See you here in a few seconds. Hey everybody, this is Brian Hogue. Welcome to another week of Chiller Chat. Thanks for joining me tonight. Tonight my guests are David and Diana Silvio from Kiss of Death Productions from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They are a film and video company that produces movies in the spicy horror genre in Pittsburgh. So, all right, and with that, let me go ahead and get them on the phone so we can start chatting. And as always, feel free to leave any comments or ask questions, okay, as we go along. And I will look up, and hopefully I don't miss your comments. If I do, just repost them, because they might have scrolled past me.
Hello.
Hello, Diana. Is David there as well?
Yes, he is.
Okay, this is Brian. You guys are on Chiller Chat. How are you tonight?
Oh, that's great. We're doing good. We're doing real good.
Good. Hey, thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate that, and I just got done telling the viewers if they have any questions or comments to post them, and they're free to interact as we do this episode. So, well, let's start off with Kiss of Death Productions. Now, who thought of that name?
Well, that would be me.
That was you. Okay.
Yeah, she did.
now, and you've been around since what, 1979? But it wasn't called Kiss of Death Productions back then, right? It was.
We originally called ourselves Odyssey Films.
Odyssey Films.
And then as time went on, we had to sort of change the name because other people, we find out that there was other companies called Odyssey Films or Odyssey Productions.
Oh.
We thought we'd come up with something a little more unique, and it appears it's not as unique. There's supposedly another Kiss of Death Productions somewhere in Florida. I think it's defunct, though.
Oh, okay.
We remained.
I'm still going strong.
You're still going strong.
After Odyssey Films, we thought, because we've seen other Odyssey films, and we said, okay, well, let's try something like American Conquest Pictures. And then eventually there's an American Conquest Picture somewhere. So it changed only because, you have to be really unique to maintain something that's that you want to have.
Yeah.
Kiss of Death Productions, we really like that, so we said, all right, this is what we're going to keep it as, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we remained that.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah, it's it's funny because even choosing a name is quite a monumental task. I mean, just even if you're trying to find a name for your website, there's like 50 other people already have it. You know, whether you realize it or not.
My first movie in 1979 was a zombie movie called The Fires of Autumn, and it was about 40 minutes long. My cousin Joseph Bondi and I, we were the producers and directors. We didn't know what producers and directors did at that time, and so but we got our equipment together. We wrote a script. Our script was sort of like a little bit of a version of Night of the Living Dead and or The Omega Man.
Okay.
Sort of a merger, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was about 40 minutes long. We did it in Super 8 sound movie film. And we cut it together ourselves. We got our own equipment. And we showed it at colleges, you know, Point Park College, Pitt, and community college, and a couple high schools also, Lawrenceville Catholic, the one. And so that's how we were able to show it, because, you know, you couldn't put it in a theater or anything, being so small. But we did show it around, and we had to bring two projectors because it had two reels. You know, they were like 200 feet each, you know, long. And you had to roll one projector. And then when the time came for it to be done, you started rolling the other one so that the movie continued to its end. You know, we did like about 5 of those kind of movies. They're about 40 minutes each in Super 8 sound movies throughout the early 80s. And then we went to video. We were involved with PCTV 21, but they weren't known as that at that time. They were known as, I can't remember what they were known as. Warner Cable, yeah, Warner Cable.
Okay.
And they had like 5 locations in the Pittsburgh area, and I worked at each one of them. I mean, as a producer of projects, and did the little things, you know. And then I switching over to video toward the end of the 80s. That's when I met Diana, and we continued on through with PCTV together there, making a lot of films and doing independent things.
Did you?
That's the history, yeah.
Okay, and your movies, the PCTV 21, they aired your movies?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
We actually we gave them their first feature film ever that they released, and
oh yeah.
On there. Yeah.
Nobody else did a feature film for PCTV until we did one in. It was like 1998. It was called The Black Raven, and it was about a woman vigilante, a karate kind of movie. You know, she was like somebody who became this sort of a superhero. She called herself Black Raven, and she went around, kicking ass. Yeah.
That sounds like that'd be fun to make.
And it was like 80 minutes long, but they had to, like, because of their scheduling and the way they did things at PCTV, they had to, at that time at least, they had to break it into 2 halves because it was too long to show all at one time. They had to put a middle thing, you know.
Little commercials, TSAs and stuff like that.
Right.
Just get a break.
Yeah.
That was the first feature-length movie on PCTV.
Wow, that's kind of neat. And now I remember when you were talking about the Super 8. That took me back to when I was a kid. I used to make tons of films on Super 8, and I used to edit those as well. And I had the old splicer, you know, where you cut it and put the editing tape on. And I don't know if it was anything like what you were doing with your, you know, I just had a small version of it, but that just kind of took me back to the early 80s when I used to mess around with that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Did you use sound? Did you have sound on the film already?
No, I didn't. What I had to do was, it was kind of funny the way I did it, because I had to do the sound later on a cassette tape, like dubbing, basically dubbing. And you know, it was just me and my friends. I didn't do anything. You know, it was just when I was a kid. But I always had an interest in that. So when you know, when I first heard of you guys, I really wanted to, you know, to meet up with you guys and talk to you, because you're doing something that I've always had an interest in, and you guys are actually doing it, you know, with making movies, and now with the web series. So I just find this all fascinating.
We've been, you know, I feel like we've been doing this, you know, from like almost the beginning of sort of like self-made movies, you know, non-Hollywood movies. I mean, I know a lot of people have done it way before us, naturally, and even while we were doing what we were doing, but and even bigger yet. But I just feel like we went through a process of working with film and working with video and working with digital, and it just seems like, you know, it's constantly changing, and who knows what the next one's going to be. I mean,
holographic, probably.
yeah. We have little these little memory cards that you don't even have to like do anything. I love it. You know, it's great. I think Orson Welles would have loved this.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of those old directors would have loved what we have now.
Well, he was working in everything. You know, I mean, obviously film in the beginning in the Hollywood system and all that, but his last movie supposedly just came out, or at least is making some kind of runs through theaters of some sort, or it will. It's called the Other Side of the Wind, and I saw a preview for it. And he was trying, all through the 70s, he was shooting it and trying to get it together. And during the course of making the movie, he shot it in 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter, Super 8 video. The whole movie is a hodgepodge of different looks, you know, and black and white film and stuff like that. So it's really going to be an interesting thing to see. You know, I've seen pieces of it, and he wanted this thing to be done by the time he was dead, and now he is, and now it's finally coming out, and I think it's going to be a great thing for filmmakers to even see the master doing. It did something, you know, that is, you know, something that today he was ahead of his time, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of neat that this hasn't been released yet. You know?
Yeah, because it went through so many hands and changes, because certain people owned pieces of it, you know, different countries owned pieces of it. They had to bring it all together, and I think from what I heard, Netflix is the one who actually finally brought it together and owns it and is releasing it.
Oh, okay. All right.
It kind of reminds me of something that Lloyd Kaufman said about making movies. Film them any way you can, even if you have to film them on toilet paper.
Oh, now he did. Was he the author of Make Your Own Damn Movie or something like that?
Yes, he was.
He did several books too.
Okay, and making independent films.
He did a book called Direct Your Own Damn Movie, and since he basically owns me for Satan's Icebox, he actually the movie we did. He wrote about the movie a little bit in that book.
Oh, okay.
So we're showcased in there just briefly, you know, a couple pages, you know, but it was fun to have it in print, to see it in print, you know.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that. No, okay, now speaking of that movie, Meet for Satan's Icebox. That was where who comes up with your titles? And then I'm looking at one, Fetish Dolls Die Laughing, which I've seen both. I've seen both of these movies. They're really well done.
Well, thank you. Although some critics have other things to say about them, you know.
Well, they're always going to do that.
Something about we shot it on toilet paper.
You got to do what you got to do.
It does have its problems too, because throughout the years, it like I said, everything changes, and it's so difficult to really get a grasp on great equipment to shoot on, because that's expensive.
Yeah, that could definitely be a problem.
As for the titles, now Meet for Satan's Icebox was derived from a. Did you ever hear of the pulp magazines in the 1930s and 40s?
Yep, I sure have.
So there was one back in 1939. There's a story, and it was called Meet for Satan's Icebox. and it had nothing to do with what we did in the movie. The storyline had nothing to do with it whatsoever. But it was funny because back in the 70s, my grandmother gave me a whole stack of these old pulp magazines.
A lot of them were like detective stories and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but I got the horror one, you know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Terror tales, things like that. And for some reason, that title just intrigued the heck out of me. And I was only a kid back in the 1970s, 11, 12, 13. And I thought to myself, someday, I didn't even know I wanted to make movies at the time, but I wanted to be creative. I was always creative. And I said, I got it. That's going to stick with me for a long time. And sure enough, some years later, I was making my own movies. And throughout the 80s, I've never stopped since 1979, actually. And then eventually in the 90s, I said, I got to make a cannibal movie and call it Meet the Satan's Icebox. And so that's what we did. We stuck with that name, even though people were having trouble with that title. They were going, Meet what? Huh? Oh, what? Huh? They couldn't say it, you know. And then finally, even the actresses and the actors in the movie couldn't say the title for a while because it just seemed so strange. But as for the titles, I mean, Fetish Dolls Die Laughing came from the writer of the story for that script, Michael McGovern. He had, and he stars in it also. He was a playwright and a director of plays here in Pittsburgh. And he came up with the title. He wanted to call it Die Laughing. And I said, well, you know, there's a Robbie Benson movie called Die Laughing.
Nobody wants Madison in it.
I did not want to call it Die Laughing. So I said, okay, if you want to keep that title, let's do something either at the beginning of it or at the end of it. Die Laughing something or something Die Laughing. So that's when we came up with Fetish Dolls Die Laughing.
Oh, okay.
And that's why it came about.
Interesting.
But like I said, with movie titles, I know some of them are a little long-winded maybe. Today, everybody wants a one-word title, but even Hitchcock did that a lot. But today is a one-word title, and you can't do that because nobody remembers that. Even though it's only one word, nobody remembers that. And you have to have something really strange and different, something unique that people will at least, when they hear it, they go, oh my God, what's that?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, what's behind those words?
Our next movie after this is going to be called Cannibal Sluts of Satan's Place.
What's that now? Is that the name of your next movie, you say?
Yep, that's the one we're going to start probably in a year or so from now.
Cannibal Sluts of Satan's Place. It's sort of a companion piece to Meet for Satan's Icebox.
Oh, all
Without
right.
being a sequel or anything attached to it.
Yeah, it's not a sequel, it's just a companion movie.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Hey, now, speaking of interesting titles and interesting movies, Babes in Psycholand. That is that was your most recent film, right?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what can you tell us about that? Because that is complete and to the distributor at this point, correct?
Right. It's at the distributor. Hopefully, you know, it'll be out for Christmas or something. Who doesn't want Babes in Psycholand under the Christmas tree, right? Basically, the story is about a police officer. She's in pursuit of a criminal, and it leads her to a closed-down orphanage, foster home, and she meets a young man there, and she's hoping that he's going to tell her where this girl's whereabouts are, but I can't say what happens to the young lady that gets there, but she discovers a little bit more than she bargained for.
Don't they all?
Yeah, she runs into some psychopath in a mask, and she's either going to figure out who's behind it or just fall victim to it. We'll see what happens to her.
Well, there you go. We do a lot of, like, as we say, spicy horror films, and they're all derived from those. The whole idea of this is derived from those pulp magazines from the 30s and 40s. So they were all like spicy. They all called them spices, and we like that. It's just it's neat. Although our stuff, I think, is in terms of the spicy part, is more tame than soap operas.
Yeah.
You look at a soap opera, you're going to see everybody in bed,
Yeah.
But we don't do that. We just kill people off,
You're right. Right.
In unique
Although,
ways.
what's that?
In very unique ways.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But speaking of the spicy, though, I mean, it probably is like what kind of rating would you say that your movies generally have? Like a PG-13 or R? I mean,
I'd say more R.
More R.
I'd say R for violence. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've shot nudity before, but we don't really, do that.
Yeah, we don't throw it out there all the time.
I mean, I know some people.
Necessary.
Some people want that, of course. They go, why is there nudity as well? It costs money too,
Yeah, right.
Nobody cooks a closed corpse, They're gonna eat it. Nobody does that.
That's a good point.
Kind of stick with reality there.
That's a very good point. Now that was now Danny Brickman stars in Babes in Psycholand, and now how was it working with Danny?
Oh, she's a wonderful girl. I loved working with her. Wow, she brings so much to the set, just personality-wise too. She lights it up. She's great. She's beautiful on camera. She's beautiful off camera. She's a real treat to work with.
Easy to direct.
Yes. Some actresses, they don't catch it. She comes prepared. She got it the first time. Rarely do you have to do a second take. Maybe if you just want a different angle. But that's about it. She's very professional.
I always do second and third takes with actors and actresses just because I want to see them do it again.
Well, didn't she did that as she was filming the series, the what was it, The Outsiders? Is that
Outsiders? Yes.
Yeah, and that was filmed down.
In between that series, she'd be there on the weekends. She'd have a day off. She'd be on our set. Like I said, wow, she's amazing.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it. Now, when do you think that will be out for the public's view?
Like I said, I'm hoping maybe December, but probably it'll be more like January.
I think more spring, but
no.
They gotta.
Yes.
So hopefully by the end or beginning of 2019, huh? Or the end of this year, beginning.
Somewhere in that range.
At the very end, there's a little special treat.
There is, like right after the credits, we get a little taste of Cannibal Sluts of Satan Place.
Oh, is that right?
You get a little preview, yes.
Tiny preview.
All right, now I got to see this. Well, not like I wasn't going to anyways. Though I've known about this for quite a while now. This movie, and I've been anxious to see it. But not only Babes in Psycholand, but your web series, nocturnal web series, Blood Stories.
Yes.
Now you did the first web series ever, right? Is that correct?
The first Gothic web series.
Oh, Gothic web series.
On the internet was Nocturnal web series.
That was the first
was
one.
10 years ago, almost 11 now.
I dare someone to challenge that.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's the first Gothic web
You know
series.
somebody out there will, if they hear this.
Bring it.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of challenging something, and I want to bring this up. It's a little weird thing. Like I said earlier, I did a movie called. My first movie is called Fire as Bottom. It was a zombie thing, and of course, Night of the Living Dead came out in '68. They did. Romero did in 1978. He did Dawn of the Dead, and I shot my movie in 1979. And unless somebody can challenge me, after Romero in Pittsburgh, and I'm saying in Pittsburgh, I'm the second person to do a zombie movie in Pittsburgh.
Oh, now
somebody challenges me.
That's pretty neat bit of information, a little trivia there. If anybody wants to look that up and challenge David on that, he gladly accepts that challenge. So, but I would love to. I would love to see that at some point. Maybe I can get some information from you, or at the end of this episode, which is only like 7 minutes away. I told you earlier.
Oh my God.
I told you earlier. This 30 minutes, they fly by. So I want to fit in the web series first, and then we'll get the information on how people can, contact you. But the web series now. You were telling me that now this is about vampires. I take it.
Yes, it's about the vampires. We're bringing back some of the characters from the original series. Some of them are in different parts. Michael Burkett, he still plays the vampire, Dr. Ulrich Vonderlin. He's a hypnotist, but aren't all vampires really. But that's how he lures victims in, by freeing them of their afflictions. For instance, one girl, she's afraid of spiders, and he takes care of that for her. She's not afraid of anything by the time he's done.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be a bad thing.
Yes, he takes good care of that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the story follows a journalist, and he uncovers an internet fraud. That's the story he's given, and it happens to be the doctor as a hypnotist, and they're like, I think he just takes advantage of people, takes their money, and so he's investigating it. And he does find out that the doctor is something a little bit more than what he is, and
it's also a love story because
there is a love story attached to it.
Yes,
because his partner does fall in love with the vampire, and we know how those things go.
A female partner, she falls in love with the vampire, but he's not really in love with her because he has a conflict between her and his female caretaker. You know how vampires always have a Renfield or something like that.
Yeah.
So and she takes care of him. Her name's Ms. Cromwell, and she always expected him to be in love with her, and so there's a conflict between him and her, and then he gets involved with the vampire gets involved with the journalist. So there's a conflict between Ms. Cromwell, the vampire, and the journalist, and then of course the male journalist is trying to figure this all out.
Is this like a
It's
culture?
sort of a little bit like a twisty version of remember the Night Stalker?
That's just what I was about to say. Yeah, I love that show.
A little bit of that, because our male journalist, he's sort of like a quirky Kolchak type.
Yeah, I remember that. Carl Kolchak. Yep, the Night Stalker. Yeah,
Jeremy Gavin. Our version of Kolchak, his name is Hanachek.
Oh.
And he's played by Linnell Jones III, a local actor.
Okay. Now, do you do this, or now you're in production right now? It's not available yet for the public, correct?
Right.
Okay. Now, is your intent to do this by season, and if so, like how many episodes per season?
The first season is going to be 4 episodes. And at the end of it, I do want to continue the same way with another episode. They are web series, so they'll be put up, on a regular basis in a season. And we do have scripted ideas for
our journalist. Our Mr. Hanachek is going to investigate beyond the vampire one. He's going to investigate maybe a werewolf.
My favorite.
That sounds great. Jason, one of our viewers, he's saying the Night Stalker was fantastic, great show. I just love that show. I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to see Nocturnal web series Blood Stories, and how. And we're actually at the we're coming up on the bottom of the hour, if you can believe that, or the half hour. How can people watch your stuff? How can they get copies of your movies? Where can they contact you as well?
Basically on Facebook.
Okay.
You'll be able to go to the Nocturnal web series,
Okay.
and the episodes are available there. They're also available on YouTube. All the episodes for the original Nocturnal were put into a feature film. So it is broken up into like 3 segments. So I'd recommend that. I mean, you don't have to keep clicking. So that. And speaking of Kolchak and this series, the character Tommy Hanachek, the last name Hanachek. Does anybody know where that came from in Night Stalker?
There's a
Hanachek.
we derived that name from one of the victims in the Night Stalker movie, and actually the book too. The book is a little bit different than the movie, but very similar. But there's a victim, and her name, I can't remember her first name, but her name happens to be Hanachek.
Yeah.
So we said, all right, we're gonna have a homage and call our main character Hanachek.
All right, I gotta know which victim was it. Was that on the first one with the vampire?
Yes.
Yes.
Was it the Vegas worker?
Right. Yes. But she was the one that went to her kitchen door, and then the vampire was right there and got her.
Yep.
And she had like a glass of milk in her hand or something or other. She put down a glass of milk, and then she answered the door, and then that was it. She was done.
She didn't even get her milk.
Right.
Wow, her night was really ruined, huh? Oh, man. Now, do you have a website as well?
I do have a website. You can find that also through any of the Facebook pages for Kiss of Death Productions. There's a Facebook production page, and the website's listed there.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that Dinner Girl 2000 wixsite.com?
Yes.
Okay, I'll
That's the one.
put that up right now.
Meet the Saints Icebox is put out by Trauma Entertainment.
Okay. Fantastic.
That's, if you Google Meet the Saints Icebox, you'd find it pretty much quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's up there. As a matter of fact, it's even up on YouTube, and somebody translated it into Russian, I believe.
Oh.
I think it's Russian or German or something.
It's Russian.
It's Russian? Okay. That must be cool.
You can find it on the internet.
Yep.
And it plays out the whole movie. But somebody, instead of the dialogue being there by the cast, somebody is speaking all the lines in Russian.
They dubbed it themselves.
That was funny to see.
That is funny.
I thought,
That's
wow,
cool.
they should have just contacted me. I'd have given them a script. They wouldn't have had to write everything down.
Yeah, made it a lot easier. Well,
Yeah.
hey, thank you so much for being on the episode tonight. We're actually at the end of the episode.
No.
I told you this time flies by. It's so quick.
no.
I gotta work on making longer episodes. But thank you so much for your time, and thanks again for being on the show. I can't wait to see your movies and your web series.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was nice talking to you.
You as well. And David, Diana, you have a good night, and
You too.
we'll talk to you later. And also, you folks, thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next week. Thank you. And that's a cut. All right. I just hung up on them. Well, I mean, I didn't just hang up on them, but I mean, they're no longer on the line right now. But David and Diana, if you're still watching, if you'd like to jump on here, if you're not doing anything else, you're welcome to. I still have comments. You know, if anybody has any comments or questions, I'll hang around here for a little bit longer. This show here, the one that we just got done doing, will be on Stream TV at 11 o'clock Saturday night, this Saturday night on November 10th. So, and it will follow Chiller Night Theater, which of course will be on at 9 p.m. And you can always join me every Saturday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time online, the same way that you're watching this right now. It's on either Brian Hoag's Facebook page or on the Chiller Night Theater YouTube channel. So for you on Facebook, for you guys on YouTube, speaking of Facebook, I know I bring this up every time on the Saturday night live pre-show, but soon, very soon, hopefully, got my fingers crossed, whatever the folks on YouTube are seeing, that's what you're going to see as well. So you're going to see everything that they are able to see. It's just a matter of me having the time to really get this figured out. But I am working on this. I am real close to being able to pull this off. So that'll be really nice. So you won't have to sit here and look at a boring green screen behind me. You'll get to see all the neat stuff that the other folks can see with the background, the neat, colorful background for Chiller Chat, the picture of the guests and the name of the guests, and if they have a website, I'll throw that up as well. But just stuff like that you don't get to see when you're watching Facebook. But I don't want to do away with the Facebook program, because a lot of you know me, personally, and a lot of you watch it because you're friends with me on Facebook, and so I appreciate that. And I just want to include you guys in visually as to what YouTube's seeing. So, again, I just want to thank you guys. This show will be on Stream TV this Saturday night. So, I guess if there's no questions or comments at this point, I just want to thank everybody for stopping by and viewing and sharing your comments. And with that, I guess I will see you Saturday night, 8 p.m. Same Brian time, same Brian place, right here on my Facebook page or the Chiller Night Theater YouTube channel. So with that, you folks have a good night, a good chiller night. We'll see you Saturday.